Today we're going to be going over the 5 things we wish we would have known before building our home. Me and my wife were blessed enough to be able to build our dream home. And this is actually the first time being able to film inside the house other than my normal filming area. So I'm going to try some different backdrops here and see what works, but we'll see how this one works for right now. But there were some things that we wish we would have known when building before we actually built. So I'm hoping this video will be able to help those of you that are currently building, looking to build, or just really like watching these videos because you're dreaming about building in the future, and maybe this will help you then. There's no particular order in the list that I'm giving you, but we'll start with number 1, and that is going to be there are going to be problems and there are going to be delays. So just plan for that ahead of time and mentally prepare yourself for those problems. When they give you a set time and say, hey, you're going to be in by July, just think, okay, it's probably going to be later than that. Save yourself the headache, because if you get in earlier or you get in on the time, then that's going to be great and you're not prepared for that, and it'll be exciting, opposed to preparing for July and then you get into December. So it's a lot more frustrating the opposite way around. So just plan for those delays. And if you're building with somebody, make sure you are having open communication with each other with that, because it can be stressful. There's a lot of frustrations with building a house, especially when you're doing it with somebody, because there's 2 different thoughts and processes and mindsets. So make sure you guys have open communication between yourselves and with your contractor. So that's an extra tip. So just make sure you are ready and prepared for those problems and delays to happen. Even with simple things like going to the grocery store or changing the brakes on your vehicle, there are delays and problems, and never goes as quickly as you would hope. So imagine larger scale, building a house where you have a contractor that's trying to get all these other people in. There's so many moving pieces in such a big time frame of usually 6 months to a year it takes to build a house. So you can only imagine how quickly that time frame can kind of open up and get a little bit bigger when maybe somebody misses the mark, or a problem happens or arises and it extends. And that's going to go right along with number 2, and that's going to be planning your budget higher than what you need. So let's do easy scale and say your house is going to cost $100,000 to build. We all know that's not possible, especially nowadays. Unfortunately, houses are not that cheap, but let's just make it easy, $100,000. If they say, okay, it'll cost you $100,000 to build your house, plan 30% more than what you're actually going to spend. Make sure it's in the budget. You don't have to necessarily think, okay, if we're going to build a $400,000 house, we have to now spend 30% more. So now we have to spend $120,000 more, and we're going to need all this extra money to build this house. But just plan accordingly with your budget. If your budget is $300,000 and that is the max budget you have, then don't make the build of the house be $300,000 exactly. Make sure you leave yourself a cushion. And why I say this is because interest rates are terrible. Getting loans are difficult and really annoying. You pay a lot of money in the end. I don't want to see anybody get put into a bad position because they built the house and they're like, it's fantastic, it was $300,000, exactly what we needed, and then something happens and then now you're $30,000 more into it and you're like, where do we get the $30,000 to finish our project? So don't put yourself in a bad situation because you maybe rushed the ball or you did not budget that buffer area for something to happen. We ended up building in the woods and we had to cut over 150 trees down. Luckily, we did that ourselves and we were able to save a ton of money doing that. But our yard cost an unexpected of $10,000. Our driveway unexpectedly cost us $20,000, which we did not budget because we ran into a lot of issues with that. Just know problems are going to happen, and sometimes it's going to be small and it'll be fixable and it'll be cheap, and then there'll be things that are going to be really expensive and you're just going to have to bite the bullet. So number 3, I don't want to go too far into detail of these because this video could be really long. If there's more questions, I'll do a more in-depth video about them. We'll see how much interest is in these type of videos. But number 3 is going to be prioritize certain rooms and certain things in your house. The benefit of building a house is you can build it exactly the way you want to, and you can prepare or plan for the things that you can upgrade or update later. So we have 3 young children under the age of 5, and we are aware that things are going to get broke, things are going to get damaged, there's going to be dings in the wall and scuffs, and the trim's going to be scuffed up in doors and all these little problems because kids are fun and messy and crazy, and it's going to happen. You have to be aware of that when building your house, especially at a young age when you have children. That's not a problem, but we chose some things a little bit cheaper that we knew we could just replace when the kids get older. And then what I mean by prioritizing certain rooms is we knew that we wanted our kitchen to be a little bit nicer, because with the kitchen it lasts pretty long. The kids aren't going to necessarily destroy certain things in there as much because they're going to play in the living room or the toy room or the basement. So we made those a little more kid-proof. But the kitchen, we knew we wanted to make a little bit nicer. So we got nicer countertops because we didn't want to replace those because new granite countertops would last a really long time. We got really nice cabinets. We got nicer appliances. So we prioritized that room and said, okay, we're not going to skimp on that area. And then we were like, okay, the kids' rooms, there's gonna be a lot of changes because as they grow, we're gonna paint the walls differently. We're gonna change a lot of things in those rooms. The carpets are gonna have to be replaced probably when they move out or get a little bit older. So we cheaped out a little bit more, and not necessarily on the words of cheaped out and saying like we went cheap with everything, but you didn't have to spend the nicer things or the more quality things because you know that you're gonna replace them a little bit longer. So pick a couple rooms, prioritize what you find important, and then maybe settle a little bit more on some of the other rooms, because if you prioritize everything, it's gonna get really expensive really quickly. One of the things that I really wanted was a 3-car garage. I wanted it to be a heated garage, and there was a lot of things that I really, really wanted, but I realized that's the stuff I can add on later. I can put a heater in the garage later. I can build an extension to the garage later, or build a barn if I have to. Didn't really need a 3-car garage, it's just something I wanted, and it's fun. But there's things that you want, and there's things that you need, and the garage necessarily wasn't one of them. So I put that on the lower of the list. Make sure you prioritize specific things, and make sure you do that in the beginning with your partner, whoever you're building this house with. If you do it yourself, it's even better because you can just prioritize what you want. But if you're doing it with somebody else, make sure you decide before you build which rooms you want to prioritize. Number 4 is going to sound silly, but it is really important. It's something that we actually ran into later down the road and ended up costing us a lot more money. Remove trees before you start building. It's kind of difficult because it's hard to envision where your house is going to be and what trees you want. With us, like I said, we removed over 150 trees, so we did a ton of cutting, but we didn't account for the one side of the house or the fact that we wanted a larger yard. So make sure you remove those trees before you start building, because 1, it's just nicer because you have all the room to be able to remove them and not have to worry about the house. But 2, it's gonna be a lot cheaper, because if you get your house finished and then you have to remove a tree and you don't have the resources to be able to do that, you're gonna have to pay somebody a lot of money to be able to cut that tree down. With the liability of being close to your house, it's gonna cost more money. So it's gonna cost you a ton later down the road if you just don't cut them earlier. And if you cut them earlier, you can just go out and do it yourself. Me and my grandpa did basically all the trees ourselves. Went out with chainsaws, cut them down, took a mule, drug them out, and then cut them up for a wood burner. So it was really easy to do it on our own without a house here, because it didn't matter where the trees fell. I mean, you didn't have to think about it. That's one less thing you had to stress over. We were able to cut them pretty quickly and get them moved and cleared fairly easily. But if you do it when the structure is up, a lot more stress and it is a lot more expensive. Now on the flip side of that though, if you're on the fence about a tree, I would probably err on the side of caution and don't cut it, because it's easier to remove a tree than put a tree back, because trees take a long time to grow. So if you're like, well, I kind of want that tree cut, but we really do like it, maybe keep it and just know it's gonna probably cost you more if you do have to cut it. But it is nice to have some trees in your yard when you're building a new house. But let's go right into number 5. Try to spread out the build over time, and if possible, pay with cash. So me and my wife started the build process around 2020, 2021, which was a terrible time to build because the price ended up jumping about $30,000 to $50,000 because of all the prices, everything went up, which is a whole nother story for another video. The house is amazing. We're super happy with it, and it's so worth everything that we've done. We've been here for about 9 months now, and we're super grateful for everything, and blessed to be able to even be able to do this. But being able to spread this out saved us a lot of time. Hypothetically, say you're a $400,000 loan to build your house. We were able to buy the land. We were able to get the driveway done. We were able to clear all the trees and get that all ready and get the land prepped, and then pay for like the foundation. And we did that over a course of time that we were able to pay with that on cash. So that saved us a significant amount of money. So now you take that $400,000 loan, turn it to a $300,000 or a $200,000 loan, whatever you were able to knock off of that. And yes, you take more time, unfortunately, and that can be stressful, just the fact that you have to wait a little bit longer, but financially, it was a lot better. We were able to buy all of our appliances before we even started building and just had them at the store waiting for us. And that was a big financial savings, because when it came time to put all this stuff in, and after you had all the problems and the stresses of building a house, that was one less thing you had to worry about, because it was already paid for, it was already in cash, and then they could deliver them, install them, it was all ready to go. We ended up doing our bedroom suite the same way. We bought all of our stuff before the house was even built, and then had it ready to go. So when we did get into the house, it was all right there delivered, and that was one less stress to have to worry about. And that is another big thing, is filling the house that you have to think of. And that's actually another video we're gonna be filming here a little bit later. After building the house, it's like, sweet, this house is amazing. But now I gotta buy furniture. I gotta buy things for the kitchen, appliances, new bedroom suites, a TV, because now it looks too small in our nice new house, or we want newer things, and that's gonna be something that you're gonna struggle with. But this video is already getting pretty long, but I just want to give you guys 5 things. That was 10, I don't know why I put 10 up. Give you 5 things that we thought about that was something that we wish we would have known when we wanted to build. So for those of you that are previous subscribers and follow my content, this is obviously very different content. I'm now posting on Sundays, every other Sunday, just trying to do different content. I do my other stuff still. It's not gonna take away from any of that content, but I wanted to do something different. We want to do more self-reliant stuff. I wanna do more stuff with outdoors and the wood burner. I wanna do stuff here with the house and the things that we've done. I think with building this house, we have some thoughts and things that I think would be able to help others that are building a house. And that's what is the goal here, is to be able to help somebody else in that process and be able to maybe save them some money or save you some money, and just be able to make processes like this easier, or just do more fun videos like this. So Sunday is gonna be for my kind of behind the scenes or different style content like this. If you are a new person watching here and you might be confused about what my channel is, I just post whatever I feel like doing. It is not one thing. I'm not just doing firearms related content. I'm not just doing house related content. I'm not doing just outdoor content. And I have an open forum based thing for our life. And that's what it is. So hopefully you enjoy it. If you are new to the channel, I would love it if you subscribed and check it out. Be interactive in the comments. I love talking with you guys. We'll mess around with the background. I don't really know. Like I said, I usually have my filming area that I always do things at. So this is a little bit different. So we'll try it out and see how we like it. But thank you all, and I appreciate you.